Hello everyone, I'm not good at lying and welcome to my review of the Logitech C920 webcam. Now, there's a lot of things to talk about when we're discussing this camera, and I don't have a lot of experience with other webcams. All I know is that Logitech makes some of the best ones, especially if you're using a different microphone, because otherwise, you really shouldn't use this webcam's built-in microphone. This webcam's got, I think, 4, but it might be 2 built-in microphones right there. And they do a pretty good, well, no they don't. They do a horrible job of picking up audio at any level. They'll clip a lot because the noise canceling is too close to the actual microphone, and it just doesn't come out very well. So with the noise cancellation being crap, it really makes your audio sound very muted, and it's overall not a very good experience, even after you amp the volume up just a little bit. I want to talk about a couple things though. So if you're getting this and you're looking for a webcam that has good audio, you're not really going to find one, but you might find one that's a little bit better than another. I really suggest going with a mono microphone, just because it makes it sound more even, especially if there's only one person talking. Then it makes everything sound much more even across the board, and it just makes it sound great. But I highly recommend going off and getting a totally different microphone. Webcam mics are just not always going to be the best thing for you in terms of quality. You're not going to get a very good quality webcam microphone. From what I hear though, from watching a whole bunch of other reviews on this webcam just recently, the C910, so not the 920 but the 910, has some pretty good microphones in it, and I think, well, I mean, they're better than the ones that are in the C920. And then the C615 or C610, whatever it is, it actually has a really good microphone in it as well, just its quality is going to be sharply degraded. Which is the next thing I kind of want to talk to you guys about, is the audio quality on this webcam. Not very well advertised is it anywhere on the internet, on any of the reviews for this webcam, that H.264, the codec that makes 1080p video look super sharp and smooth, without having to lose a lot of that quality that's coming out of the webcam, because this webcam's got some really good quality in it. The H.264 codec, because of licensing issues, was never released outside of the Logitech application. You can get it a couple different ways, but it's mainly hidden inside of the driver, meaning that if you have another application that can support H.264 other than the Logitech app, and I think Skype may do it, if you have another application that can support it, it's still hidden to that application by my knowledge, though I've never really been able to use it other than for the default Logitech video app. I'm actually having to do a whole bunch of different things in this video, but yeah, so I wanted to talk about that. The H.264 codec that makes 1080p look super nice, even almost to uncompressed levels from what I've been reading around the internet. You can't use it outside of the Logitech app and Skype, so if you're trying to pick up this webcam for use in something like, I don't know, Camtasia, then it's not gonna have that option. Now, there are other options. There's the i420 codec, which is actually, in comparison to the one that I'm using right now, pretty bad. It's not very good. Don't use it. And then there's the RGB24, which is okay. It does pretty well, but I think you get the best quality outside of H.264 through the MJPEG codec. Now, MJPEG, that codec uses a lot of space on your computer, so it'll actually take a little bit longer. From what I'm initially thinking, it might take a little bit longer to compress the video down whenever you're finally sharing it in Camtasia or whatever, because that video is going to be pretty big. What Motion JPEG does is it basically just takes a whole bunch of pictures and then plays them as if they weren't pictures, and then interlaces the frames a little bit. And that's impossible to run at 1080p, but at 720p, like I'm running right now, not that bad of a thing. So yeah, there's that. There's the fact that the driver disables and hides the H.264 codec, so you have to uninstall the Logitech drivers and install default Microsoft UVC drivers to get the H.264 codec to work. Otherwise, you better just stick with 720p, or you can go to 1080, but you're going to be using a very inferior codec to H.264. That doesn't mean that your recording program won't output a H.264 video. That just means that your webcam's video going into that program, unless initially recorded through the Logitech application, is not going to be H.264. I'll put a little clip here. Well, not a little clip here, but I'm just going to cut for a sec and show you guys a clip using the Logitech webcam. You may not be able to notice because YouTube re-encodes these videos anyway, but it's good for quality. Okay, so on to a pro about this camera. This camera handles lighting situations very poorly. Wait, that didn't sound like a pro. So what I mean by that is, unless you have a white balance card, it will always either make you a little too warm or a little too cool. Now that doesn't matter on something like Skype. So if you're looking for these for this webcam for something like Skype, it's great. Especially if you don't use the damn microphone. I don't mean to say anything wrong about it, just that microphone's really not that great, guys. But it's great for Skype and things like that. But if you're looking to do something like this, then it always either over or undersaturates the image. That wrong terminology, just it uses the wrong white balance most of the time, and it will always overexpose. And the reason for that is, so webcams are designed to bring you out using only either your computer monitor's light, which is why they're so close to the computer monitor, other than, for positional reasons. They're designed to just expose the hell out of your face, which means that they're leaving their sensor open to gather more light per second. So with your image overexposed, or with you not having a very good lighting situation, you end up with a very either overblown image or an image that looks kind of choppy. And especially whenever you've got this kind of lighting situation, you need that exposure turned most of the way down. It handles colors very well, though. This is one of the best webcams I've ever seen in the way that it can handle things. I mean, I just compared it to an SLR yesterday. Yesterday. I just compared it to an SLR yesterday, and the only thing that I found out, oh no, it was the day before yesterday. Sorry about that, guys. I just compared it to an SLR camera, and the only thing that I really wanted more that I saw in the SLR was that blur in the background to get rid of all of that. But other than that, this webcam is performing pretty well for what it is, and oddly enough, even has a tripod mount to mount it on a tripod, like an actual legitimate tripod, like that one that's holding my lamp, because there's nothing else that I could get to hold my lamp up. So yeah, it handles colors very well after it's been adjusted, and its resolution is just absolutely outstanding. Now, to talk about another bad thing, the drivers for the Logitech webcam don't work very well. White balance is always set back to absolute bare minimum if it's not on auto after you reboot your machine. So say you use like a white piece of paper to balance out your light, which works a little bit. I needed to adjust mine a tad more after I did that. It's best to use a gray card. But if you use like a white sheet of paper to have your camera find out the actual correct white balance in your room, then you manually set it and lock it so it can't move, then whenever you reboot your computer overnight, then whenever you come back on, it's going to be set to its very lowest setting because it's not on automatic, which I find to be a very, very big pain, because that means I have to reset my white balance every day, even though my lighting isn't changing. There's nothing about my room changing, so there's no reason I should be changing my white balance every single time I want to record a video like I had to do just now. And like I should have done in the last gameplay video, but I tried to correct for it. It's just not a very good thing. I'm now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this webcam is in any way bad. It's actually very, very, very good for what it is. This is a pretty good webcam. I've compared it to other videos of webcams around the internet, and to be fair to those reviewers, I need to talk about something that they all say. There's something called autofocus. Now, in this particular webcam, autofocus is macroed. There's no way to get it out of that. If it can focus very well on something like this being directly up against the camera, and it can focus very close to the camera, but what a lot of people like about the autofocus on this camera is that it focuses on your face very well, even though because of its 20-step autofocus, but what it's actually doing, it isn't focusing on your face, it's focusing on everything in the room. If you notice in any of those shots, you don't have a blur behind you, which is interesting, because I didn't even recognize that through the majority of my videos, that it was actually making everything in focus until just recently. And whenever I manually set that focus myself, I now have a blur in the background, which means that it was probably using an infinity focus, just focusing on everything, instead of focusing on the main subject. And whenever I tried to get it to focus on my face and my face alone, or on anything in front of it, it could do it at distances about that close. Now, it's not going to do it right now because I have my focus locked, but so anything really close to this camera, it'll autofocus great on. But you're not going to be that close to this camera, or at least you shouldn't be. This is on maximum zoom out. I don't use zoom. I'm actually very against those things because they introduce noise all over the video that I don't like. So I'm not zoomed in, and I don't know. But so yeah, it doesn't handle autofocus very well either. So you might be thinking to yourself, what does this camera do well then? Well, after white balance has been set correctly, I guess if you want to focus on a consumer grade product and you're not thinking about the fact that other people just using Skype are going to use this product, then you have to take into account, price. It's priced pretty well for the camera that it is. I didn't necessarily get better quality of this out of my camcorder, but now that I got a better lighting situation, I might want to try that again. Yeah. But, so I didn't necessarily get a better quality than this out of my camcorder, which was a much more expensive device. It can pull me out of very dark situations, so if I was to turn all my lights off and have everything set to auto or maybe high exposure, it can pull me all the way out so that I'm visible in the image, which is nice again. It's got very nice glass on the front of it. It's Carl Zeiss lens, and it's pretty nice. The microphones are bad, but I don't use them, so I can't really criticize on them. I used them in one video way back on my channel, back whenever I had no idea how to do any of the camera settings, and so I used a filter overlay to make myself look like I was surrounded in neon. Back then is when I used that mic. But yeah, so there's a couple things to consider whenever you're looking at these cameras that I don't think a lot of other reviewers have touched on. It looks really nice out of the box. That's true. Does it look color accurate, like a lot of the other reviewers say? No, it does not. Not until it's been balanced properly, and then it might, and then you're still going to have choppy vision, which means you're going to have to, or, like choppy animation. So you're still going to have to cut down on your exposure because its right light engine is always going to set exposure too high. It never fully gets rid of gain. There's a little bit of gain in this video, but what I think they're referring to whenever they mean gain is the ISO level of the sensor, and I could totally be wrong about that. But whenever it comes to ISOs in a camera, you want the lowest possible ISO setting to get rid of any noise in your video. That's why people want to use 19,000 lights in their videos, is so that way they can get rid of all the noise that they can possibly get rid of inside of the sensor. So whenever you're using 3 high-powered lights, or you've got a lamp pointed directly at your face, which is how I was doing this beforehand, any gain at all at absolute any gain will screw you up a lot. It'll produce a lot of noise and you won't know why. So you'll turn down the exposure thinking that it might be the exposure because you're not experienced, which is what I did, and it's kind of dumb, but, well, it's really dumb. But, so you're going to turn down the exposure, and then you're going to realize, hey, my choppiness is gone. And then you're going to turn down the gain, and you're going to realize, hey, this looks like crystal clear HD video, I don't know what happened. And then you're going to be like, wait, why is my skin tone the wrong color? And you'll go in and you'll move the white balance 2 notches to the left, and your skin tone will be the right color. And then you'll look at getting a white balance thing and all this other stuff, if that's what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a Skype camera, if you're looking for a camera to chat with your friend overseas with, or to chat with your friend in another state, this is a really good, really good camera for that. This is an absolutely outstanding camera for that. If you're looking for something for chat roulette, this is a really good camera. If you're looking for something for Omegle, really good camera. If you're looking for something for recording, super awesome camera as well. I can't find a whole bunch of differences between this and SLR other than color reproduction and the blur. This blur is not nearly as good as an SLR's, and I cannot wait to switch this webcam out with an SLR, but it's only going to be a minor improvement to you guys. It's going to be a dramatic improvement to me. But yeah, so I have been talking for a really long time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to this video, or me. I hope you guys are having a great night, a great week, a great weekend, a great month. And I will see you later.